I think when we think about the systems change, it's really starting with the people first, supporting the people wherever they are in the system, making sure that they can be their best. When they start having the opportunity to share their passions, their interests, their gifts, their talents, the solution comes to light. It isn't for me to come in and say, this is the way we need to do this. It's really talking with administrators and educators and anyone that works within our system, our parents, our Board of Education, our central office teams, and thinking about where is the first best place for us to start, where our educators feel comfortable taking that first step, know that they're going to be supported, know that it's going to be celebrated, no matter how big or small that first step is, and that we start to help them feel what it feels like to do something different than what they've traditionally been expected to do. In talking to veteran educators who have been part of this work, I said that's been the biggest challenge, is we as educators want to do everything that we think we're supposed to do. And we're asking them to step away from really their identity. And so we need to create this culture of learners throughout the organization. That includes the coaches and the coordinators that support the work. That includes the building administrators and central office. That includes parents understanding that school might look a little bit different, but also keeping that relationship where the most trusted relationship is between the teachers and the families. So I think it's more than just, here's a nice one-page sheet that says what we're doing. It's more about how do we continue to keep the door open for educators to be able to say, what if, and now what? And how do we support that? I've been able to, when teachers talk to me about trying something new, I want to be there. I want to be there to support them. And it isn't about just saying, thank you for doing this, as much as it is, how did it feel for you? And really helping anyone within the system, what does it feel like to do something new and see the way your students react? And then remembering that feeling, because that's what we will build on.
It just makes me feel so much more purposeful. Obviously, my purpose is to educate kids, right? That's just why we do this work. But this has been eye-opening in the sense that I give kids an opportunity to think outside of the four walls of our classroom. And you can just see it. For instance, we want to raise awareness about the beat crisis right now. I had a kid yesterday because we want to raise money for it. He's like, we could make bookmarks. We could, at a very low cost, because we could use Canva and we could use tools that have very low overhead. And this is fifth graders, right? And already coming up with a budget because we're working with decimals. So it's not just, we're going to add, subtract, multiply. It's like, we need to make a budget. And it's not me saying, okay, well, we need to add these. They're like, we got to figure out how much the flowers would cost. So we have to, it's just it's such a rich classroom conversation. And it's so different than hoping kids raise their hand.
I think that's one of the things what I have noticed through this work is the value and power of providing the opportunities for everyone within the system to be able to contribute, and then stepping back and really working together to figure out what that next best place is to go. And again, every time it's somewhere better than I know I individually could think of or any other individual. But we have to go together. And that's the culture that everyone deserves to work in and learn in. Our teachers deserve a culture of learning, not just on our PD days. So we're trying to shift the way we think about professional learning in an organization. That's why we have the cohort groups. That's why we're asking them to share their learning. That's why we are, capturing this journey, which is so incredible. And even though there's little small pieces and parts, we may not feel like we're going anywhere, but it's the collective that has the value. And it's the same thing in our building and in our entire district.